Chapter 10, The Cash Flow Illusion. You're not broke because flipping doesn't work. You're broke. You're broke because all your cash is stuck in devices that haven't sold. That's the illusion most resellers fall for. They look at their shelves full of inventory and think, I'm doing great. But they can't buy their next deal. They can't reinvest. They can't move because they don't have cash. They have inventory. And inventory doesn't grow your business. Cash does. I've lived it. $10,000 worth of phones sitting in my house, leads pouring in, and I couldn't buy a single one. Every dollar I had was trapped in devices I hadn't sold yet, and I wasn't moving them fast enough to keep up. Deals would show up with $200 profit, and I had to pass. Not because the deal was bad, but because I didn't have any money. It got so bad, I stopped replying to leads. I was embarrassed. I didn't want to admit that I couldn't afford the next deal. Back then, eBay paid out to PayPal instantly. I'd sell a phone, cash out, hit the ATM, and buy another one the same day. Sometimes I'd do that 3 times in 24 hours. It worked, barely, but I was sprinting on fumes. My entire mindset at the time was buy now, the sales will come later. Spoiler, they don't. At least not fast enough, and not without a plan. The shift didn't come from reading. It came from watching my students run into the same wall I did, buying nonstop, then getting stuck. That's when I realized cash flow isn't optional. It's the difference between a hustle and a business. Profit looks good on paper. Cash is what keeps the machine running. Control your cash or it controls you. Most new resellers don't have a money problem. They have a structure problem. They make money and then spend it all. Then they wonder why they can't scale or why one bad week takes them out of the game. The solution isn't more income, it's better allocation. Step 1, start with a flipping only bank account. If you're just getting started, set up one separate bank account for flipping. Do it. It's not hard. Call the bank, do the thing. Even if it's just a checking account, you don't need a business account immediately. Start with $500 to $2,500. Whatever you can afford without needing to pull out to pay rent. Label it clearly. For deals only. If your flip money is mixed with your life money, your business will always feel like chaos. This simple step gives you control and clarity, even if you're just starting with one deal. Step 2, understand real profit. Let's walk through a real world example of how much profit you actually make on a typical flip. You sell a phone for $600 on eBay. Here's the full breakdown. 1, eBay takes 13% in fees. 600 times 13% is $78. 600 minus 78 equals $522 remaining. Step 2, you pay $7-ish for shipping. $522 minus $7 equals $515 remaining. You bought the phone for $400. 515 minus 400 equals $115 in actual net profit. So no, you didn't make $600. You made $115, and that's what you're going to structure. Step 3, divide the profit. Here's how to break down that $115 net profit using this system that I recommend. 20% to taxes. Yeah, you got to pay them whether you like it or not. So that would be $23 out of the original 115. 30% to payroll or reinvest it, stack if you're not paying yourself yet. And this comes out to $34.50. 10% to an emergency fund, which comes out to $11.50. 5% to education and growth, which comes out to $5.75. 35% to reinvest and stack, which just comes out to $40.25. What each bucket does for you. Taxes. Keeps you safe from surprises at tax time. This is from somebody who's lived that. Sucks. Payroll or savings. Pay yourself eventually or stack it until you can. Emergency fund. Covers returns, lost packages, dead inventory. Education and growth. Buys the skill set that makes you better and faster. Reinvest and stack. Fuels your next flip or builds your buying power. Step 4, understand what you really have. Here's the part most people miss. After that $600 sale, you don't have a nice flip. You have $115 in structured profit, $40.25 automatically ready for your next deal. And depending on your stage, you either have $674.75 to reinvest if you're not paying yourself yet, or $640.25 if you're taking a small payroll. That's because your total payout after fees and shipping was $515, and your structured profit system gave you clarity on where every dollar went. Final word. You didn't guess, you didn't hope, you ran a system. This is how you build structure. This is how you grow without breaking. Amateurs flip to make money. Professionals structure it so they don't lose it. The inventory flow system. Stop bleeding money. When I started, I didn't track anything. I'd buy a phone, toss it in my inventory box, forget what I paid, then sell it under value and lose money without realizing it. That chaos ended when I built a system. Quick note from me. Out of everything in this chapter, this was the hardest for me. Systems, tracking, financial discipline, I sucked at it. I didn't feel qualified to teach this for a long time because I was winging it myself, buying fast, forgetting prices, scrambling to sell so I could buy again. Not because I was lazy, but because I didn't know better. Eventually, I learned this is what separates a flipper from a business owner. Not knowledge, not effort, but discipline. I'm not naturally organized, but I couldn't afford not to be. If some of this sounds familiar, it should. Humans need to be reminded more than they need to be taught. We've talked about parts of this earlier in the book. I'm bringing it back here on purpose, not to fill space, but to reinforce the habit. You don't need more information. You need to remember what already works. This three-step system, the three-step inventory flow, TLS. Step one, track it immediately. Record what you paid, note the condition, estimate the resale value, use Google Sheets, Notion, whatever you'll actually use to track it. Step two, list it immediately. The second you buy, list. Don't wait until later. Later becomes forgotten. Forgotten becomes cash locked in a drawer. Step three, adjust or liquidate or sell. Day 1 through 7, drop the price slightly if it hasn't sold. Day 14, promote it or cross list it to another platform. Day 30, liquidate, reinvest, move on. Don't get emotional. Inventory isn't family, it's fuel. Stay in the buyer's high. We've already talked about this, but this is where most people stall, so I'll say it again. The buyer's high is real. You score a deal, you feel the rush, you know you made money the second it hits your hands. Then what? Nothing. It sits, the high fades, listing it becomes a chore, and the momentum dies. Let me remind you why this matters. Every unlisted device equals cash that is trapped. Every delay in listing equals delay in reinvesting. Every forgotten item equals a decision you didn't make. Build this habit. Buy, log, list, move on. That excitement isn't just a dopamine hit, it's a signal. Use it. Don't let the buyer's high go to waste. Let it carry you all the way through the cycle. Recycle fast, the payback period mindset. Most flippers ask, how much profit can I make? Smart flippers ask, how fast can I get my money back? That's the payback period, and it's one of the most important metrics in your entire business. Example, you buy a phone for $300, sell it in 3 days for $60 in profit. You just flipped your capital in 72 hours. Now do it again and again and again. 4 cycles equals $240 earned from the same $300. Now compare that to the guy who holds out for a perfect $120 profit but waits 30 days to sell. Same margin, slower money, worse outcome. Speed over margin. Your money is a boomerang. Throw it out, get it back, throw it again. Faster equals better. A day of fast recycling, a real story. This happened early in my flipping journey. I bought a phone for $150, sold it immediately for $300. Took that $300 and bought another device for $200. Flipped that one for $350. Took that money and bought one more. Shipped all 3 in the same box. Got paid by the same buyer 3 times in one day. One buyer, one day, 3 flips, one shipment. That's what happens when you stop thinking in deals and start thinking in velocity. The 3 rules that keep you scaling. You want to scale without burning out? These 3 rules will save your business. Rule number 1, money must move. Cash sitting in inventory isn't money. It's delayed decision. If a phone hasn't sold, the deal isn't done. You're stuck in the middle of the cycle. Your inventory isn't supposed to grow. It's supposed to turn. Velocity beats volume every time. Rule number 2, don't get romantic about prices. If it's not selling, it's priced too high. You're not running a museum. You're running a business. Yes, you might get $30 more if you wait, but at what cost? You miss the next deal. You kill your momentum. You start justifying inventory hoarding. Drop the price, promote it, cross-list it, just move it. Rule number 3, keep a cash cushion. Cash buys options. The biggest deals show up without warning, and the worst problems do too. Returns, lost packages, bulk deals you weren't expecting. You don't rise to the occasion, you fall to your reserves. A deal you can't afford is a deal that you just lost. Final word. Build the machine that prints cash. This business isn't about chasing big margins. It's about building a machine that prints cash and keeps going. The engine of the machine is cash flow, not hype, not theory, not someday profit. Movement. The people who scale don't guess, don't hoard, don't wait. They build, they track, they flip forward fast. They don't just flip to make money, they flip to build freedom. Follow this playbook, and you'll never be stuck with inventory and no cash again. You'll have what most flippers never build, a real business that prints money on command. Your next step starts here. Reading this is one thing, doing it is another. If you want to move fast, stop trying to remember everything and use the resources I already built for you. Scan the QR code or hit the link below and get instant access to everything. Buybackrevolution.com//chapter-10. Don't just read it, use it, because the ones who move the fastest win.